Good morning. I hope everyone is having a brilliant weekend. So I wanted to inform everyone that I have uploaded to my Google Drive folder, which again I will put a link to that in this video description box below. I have finished typing in my pen and paper football FAC cards. So I have two. One has lines on it, as it'll pop up. I think it'll pop up. Will come up here. There it is. So it'll give you an idea of the cards with lines. And then I have one with no lines, which I think is better for measuring and cutting. It'll be a little more consistent between cards. I am not a professional typesetter. I have made FACs before, I think fairly well. I'm not certain, how well this is done, but it gives you an idea of what my FAC looks like for pen and paper football. So remember, my FACs that I use for pen and paper football just give me the reason in the box score why a team scores, or who scores, or field goal length. But it also allows me to have the box scores that identify kind of what happened detail-wise in the game. And they also allow me at the end of the season to track, what DL in the league has the most sacks, what linebacker, interception, sacks. Also, what back had the most touchdowns, fullback, running back, tight end, split end. So if you have a roster of player names of your key players, you'll be able to know who the top at least touchdown target was, and what quarterback threw the most TDs, etc. So if you use the no line, of course you're going to want to measure, consistently, and then you only have to make 1 cut, 2 cuts, and then underneath field goal 3 cut, 4 cuts. So there should only be 4 cuts, and there are 5 sheets, 45 cards. You shuffle them thoroughly before every game or every week. I shuffle them depending on the size of because I don't want to see a lot of repeats. Like I don't want to see a lot of 82-yard returns in 1 week of games. So I try to use the deck for the whole week's games, and then if I have to, I'll shuffle at the end of the week, and you're going to see some duplication. Or you can modify this, 82-yard return, all right, make it 87, make it 81, but it gives you a clue. So the top of the card literally refers to why a team failed to score in the quarter. So you flip. So let's say I rolled a shutout for the quarter. I flip it. It says punt. Well, that just means the team struggled to move the ball. They punted a lot in the first quarter. They punted on all 3 possessions, whatever. But if there's a highlight, like during the first quarter, the team was shut out. That's because there was a big sack. Maybe the big highlight of the first quarter for that defense was a sack by the linebacker. Again, if I roll a touchdown, 7 points. I flip a card, and the middle of the card always tells you how the touchdown was scored. If there's multiple touchdowns in the score roll, then you have to flip multiple cards to get how many, what all their touchdowns for that quarter look like. And of course, same for field goals. If you roll a 3 or you roll a 6 or you roll a 10, you're going to want to flip to find out what that field goal was. And this just tells you how long the field goal was. If it says missed field goal at the top of the card to explain why there was a shutout in the quarter, then you can use the field goal number on that card, or you could flip another card and get a completely different number. So this is just data. It just explains the narrative of the game. Instead of a 0 quarter, you would know why Detroit had a 0, because the fullback fumbled the ball away and it was a big hit by the DB. So, and if it's a 7 points quarter, you flip a card. Oh, it's because the quarterback threw a touchdown pass to their tight end. That's so it just gives you data. And at the end of the season, you can tally leaders for touchdowns and sacks. Anyway, and you can also reverse engineer if you have a book like Hidden Game of Football that gives you yardage for touchdowns and yardage for sacks and fumbles and things. You can actually reverse engineer from your total touchdowns, total points, how much offensive yards your team got on the season and how many defensive yards your team got on the season. And you can actually extrapolate, well, if the split end caught 10 touchdowns, what's the yardage for touchdown passes, and get an idea that your split end caught say your split and caught 10 touchdowns on the season, and the average was 56 yards per touchdown. That's 560 yards, right? You say, okay, well, not every one of his catches were. So you can use some data to extrapolate season leaders even in yardage, however you want to do that. I don't normally mess with yardage for this game. I only want to know who led the league in sacks and batted passes and interceptions. So it's pretty cool. It's highlights. So it's like a lead leader in highlights. And touchdowns, of course, are the number 1 highlight in all of football. There you have it. And again, as I said, there is also a lined one here. However, again, I'm not a professional typesetter, so you might find if you cut them out If you cut them out with scissors, they might be all slightly off, right? So hopefully not, but at least it gives you a frame of reference of what I'm doing. So that index set of index cards on my table, that's what's on these cards for those who are following along. This set has 45 cards. My index card set that I use on the table has only 40 cards. So there are more cards here in this document. So there's a few more results, making it a little more dynamic and providing a little more. But there's 40 in the deck I use on my table. I will print these off probably in the next week or so and cut them out myself and start using this set of cards. So I just wanted to share it. Hopefully everybody out there who plays pen and paper football might find this interesting. But again, it's free, completely free, and I just wanted to share it. So everybody out there, have a wonderful remainder of your weekend, and hopefully you're enjoying your favorite tabletop games. All right, bye-bye.